Okay, we are live. Audio should be working. Let me make sure we're not. Oh, we need sound effects though, don't we? Let's see. Because I have to have my music. Let's see if it was going to work. There you go. Tell me if it's too loud. Tell me if it's too loud. How is everyone doing? I have lots of little things to talk about. Maybe some big things. Discoveries, learnings, controversies maybe. And we'll talk about news, of course. We'll do a little detour into some etymology. I'm sure we'll get into some military aviation while we're at it. And, you know, for some reason I want to talk about character actor J.T. Walsh. May he rest in peace. One of my favorite actors, which is one of those guys you've probably seen many times but didn't know him. Okay, let me turn down the volume in my ears a little bit. There we go. So good. There's a restaurant I used to go to that had music like this playing all the time. And whenever the stream starts and I hear this music, I'm just instantaneously transported back to the restaurant, which is El Gaucho in Bellevue, Washington. I used to spend a lot of time there. Okay, so let's get the show notes together. And let me think how I want to do this. Oh, hey, Atomic. Adam Skates is here. Hello, hello, hello. Rain, any opinions on the Huion Note E? We're going to get there. We're going to get there, Rain. I haven't spent much time looking at it, so I'll look at it in the stream. We'll see what the chat is about it. We'll see how that's all working. You know, I may want to plug in one more monitor to this thing I've got going here to help me do with the show notes. Actually, I'll not do that right now. If I need to do it later, I'll do it. It's kind of useful for me to have 3 screens. Yet another studio change, by the way. We'll talk about what that change is. It's not so obvious. I made some crazy discoveries this week about pressure. Sup chat, hit that like button. Let's see, what's watching your 2025 ranking video just now when you went live. Oh, okay, interesting. Moving Pad 14, fantastic, fantastic. It is a good tablet. It is really a good tablet. Actually, there's an update on the Moving 14. It updated to Android 15, I think. I can double check, but yeah, I saw an update come in, a system update. I didn't change anything fundamental, but it's always good to be on the latest, I think. Oh man, there's so much to show you. There's so much to show you. It's actually hard to even, we are gonna do a little bit of slop coding. This is gonna be a long, rambling stream. I hope you don't mind. Discoveries about pressure. Yes, Rain. Yes, yes. There have been discoveries. I have to be honest with you. I just get sucked in. Every time I try to get out of the topic of pressure, it drags me back in. And that was a scene from one of the Godfather movies, by the way. It drags me back in. I thought I understood what was going on. I have better data now. I have better tooling. I'm going to show you the tooling. I also discovered strange behaviors. We will, I was going to say I'm not going to speculate, but we will speculate as a community about what is causing those behaviors. Some of them were shocking. some of them I'm not entirely. So I was going to say I'm not comfortable talking about them. I didn't know how to talk about this topic to you all because you can just tell I'm struggling to get my words out. It is so weird what I observed, and I measure a lot, so this isn't like a one-off. This is like repeatable. Okay, multiple pens on multiple tablets. Like it's not a small sample size. Anyway, before we continue, I do want you to notice the title of the stream. It says Art Pen 2, Hysteresis, Slop, News, and Chat. Not hysteria, hysteresis, which apparently comes from a different word origin from hysteria. Believe it or not, even though they both begin with hyster. Okay. Very different. Let's see. So we'll talk about that. But hysteresis is one of the key things I discovered today. And it has an implication on pen pressure, believe it or not, and how pens behave. Now, people told me about this. I think, I'm very sure it would be Arch. Arch told me about this. Maybe Nakdi, maybe Nick also might have pointed out, but there's a hysteresis behavior in pressure. I know it doesn't make any sense what I'm saying. You're going to find out. The first thing we're going to do is talk about the art pen, okay? And I'm going to review with you my comments on it. We're going to ask AI to help us with that. So how I'll do that is I've got two computers again. I've got a new laptop, by the way, which I'll talk about. This is the, cable's not quite long enough. Galaxy Book 6, Galaxy Book 6 Pro, not the 360. Book 6. It is more expensive than I wanted to pay, but it came out about $2,500, I believe. But I wanted a machine to have the portable workstation. I have 3 different desks. Actually, I have 4 different desks. And I didn't want to have a PC set up at each one. That's what I have now. So it's not an issue of, I didn't want to buy, so I already have them. But I wanted, you have to get set up on different things. They have different things installed. Sometimes I want to demo something that I built on one. I thought I'd get a reasonably powerful laptop to use for the stream and to do demos that would also allow me to do some coding and things. Okay, so this is got like 32 gigabytes of RAM, which is not, it's a lot, but it's not crazy amount today. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Brother, can you spare some tokens? So that's what we're going to be showing today. If you have any questions about it, I'd be happy to talk about it. I have a Book 5 360 Pro, which is the 2-in-1, which you can fold, but this does not do that. I never used the 2-in-1 as a folding thing, so I thought, why bother? But I've been pretty happy with the Samsung. They're quiet. This is reasonably powerful. So we're going to maybe make use of it. But anyway, the reason I wanted to bring this up was that's where my notes are, huh? Tools, hang on, where am I? Where are my notes? Show notes, okay. Always like to have show notes prepared. Do I have my phone? Yeah. Why is it saying this? Use your Microsoft account. Yeah. Okay, scan fingerprint. Yes, stay signed in. Okay. Let's get my show notes. What do we got? We got, I'm going to talk about the art pen. And while we're talking about the art pen, I realized I'm going to plug in Hopefully this thing works with 3 displays. It should. It should work with the, oh yeah, I think it should. Okay. Great. Now it does. Let me clone the display. Okay, so I clone 2 and 3. Keep changes, and let's verify I'm on HD on the, yeah, that should work. It should work. Okay, I'm gonna test it out. Let's see if this actually does the thing. Yeah, there we go. That's my, actually the screen of my laptop. Okay, great, it's working. Hey Nick, we just talked about it. How did 3 new Art Pen 2s increase your drawing productivity? Well, to be fair, I would say I haven't used them as much as I intended to. Hang on a second. Only because I've been testing them so much, I haven't drawn as much with them. But I have drawn a little bit with them. But to answer your question, they haven't made me more productive. They never, I don't think that was ever the plan. But they did make me feel more comfortable. I do enjoy holding it more, that's for sure. Okay, hang on. We're gonna move things around a little bit. And let me get my, not quite as comfortable to do this as I thought. Okay, so we're going to talk about, excuse me, what is today's date? 2026-05 and 27. I hope everyone had a good Memorial Day. I had a very chill Memorial Day. I did not do much. I don't even know what I did all day. I know what I did. I measured pens. Yeah, that was what I did. That was measuring pens. If people want to see me measure a pen live, I do want to show, because the demo is, I'm going to show that on stream. Let's see. So we're going to talk about the Art Pen 2. Caps lock is crazy. We're going to talk about measuring. Sorry, I'm typing, measuring pressure. It makes me think I actually need a separate keyboard even for that one. We're going to talk about slop. And yeah, we're going to talk about these topics. And anything else people want to talk about. If I had 5... Are you leaving, Uncle Rick? Thanks for stopping by, though. Appreciate it. If I had 5... I like how you wrote Mr. 7. If I had 5 art pens, I would feel like king of the world. Art pen, I like the art pen. I'm just going to tell you right up front. Let's get to my article on the art pen. Okay? And let's show you what I am getting into here. So let's just get to my Git book. I have to log in again. Okay, there we go. So let's go take a look at the art pen. And I have some photos, by the way. I'm going to add some photos. Art pen 2. ACP 700. Why is it not finding it? There we go. It's at the bottom. How can I make this smaller? There we go. A little bit easier. Okay, so let's make this a bit easier for you to see. So, yeah, the art pen that I have, I started these notes, and I'll share the link in a second. Let me just go ahead and show it to you. I move this mouse out of the way, and let me move my window so I can see what I'm looking at. There we go. A little bit easier for me. Okay. And one more window I need to change. Yes, there we go. Okay, so what's the summary of the art pen from my perspective? Number one, I would say this. We should consider, it is a successor to the old art pen, which is the KP701E. At the end of the day, it is an excellent pen. I gotta say, I do really like the way how it feels. Okay, and I like how it draws. I'm sort of just paraphrasing the text here. The fact that it's $100, while not cheap, costs less than the Pro Pen 3 at 130. So I know this pricing is not, it's not consistent across all markets. Did you compare the V1 and V2 side by side? Is the original still feeling well? I can do that again, Nick. I do want to do that live as well. I will say this: the Art Pen ones that I had, the KP701Es, their pressure seemed weird to me when I measured them. Now maybe my equipment is better now and I can find out more accurate information. But these behave more consistent and they're better. Okay. Now, I still think the Art Pen one is good. I never really liked how the tip worked. I mean, no, so not the tip. The shape was so bulbous toward the nib. Sometimes I would not be able to get a low enough angle with tilt. So that was kind of a little bit of a problem for me. So in every way, I would say this pen feels superior. Having said that, there's a pressure issue we have to talk about, and it's a wild one. Not a wild. This is one of the wild things, but we have to get to a conclusion about why we believe what we believe. Specifically, it is the claim that Wacom has less than 1 gram force IEF. That question gets brought up every now and then. Why we believe that, and I wanted to show you the reason why we believe this is true. Okay. And the reason we believe this is true isn't me, because I can't measure that well, okay? And I think I'm still investigating why that is, but I'll show you the data I have. So I just want you to keep that in mind. But I do, to Nick, sorry, that was a bit rambly. I do like it better than the Art Pen 1, easily. It just feels better, right? I consider this to actually be the successor, not just to the Art Pen 1, but also the Pro Pen 2, okay? When I look at the Pro Pen 2 I have, and I have many of them, and then I look at the Pro Pen 3, which I have gone back and forth with about liking it or loving it or hating it. I never hated it, there's lots of little things about it. I prefer the Art Pen 2. In all ways, it's a winner for me. It costs about the same, and it has bell rotation, and it has a better feel to it in terms of like how it feels to hold than the Pro Pen 3. And I just think it is the new pen I'll be using most of the time, though. Okay, so that's probably the biggest discovery for me. The Art Pen 2 is really in my mind, the successor for the Pro Pen 2. Okay. The negative about having that opinion or that feeling is that it doesn't work with a lot of tablets, like 7 currently, right? That's going to go up to like 10. I think, and I'll be very frank about this, Wacom is doing a disservice to its customers by limiting the Art Pen 2 to the small number of tablets it has. Now, let me be clear on this because it's me misconstrued. There's 2 levels of what I could be saying. I could be saying that this pen should be working, they should make this pen work with the Intuos Pro model, okay? I would like them to do that. I can understand why they don't do that. I would like them to do that. On the other hand, the Intuos Pro 2017 model is, I believe in 2 or 3 years they're just going to drop it from support, so there's not much point. Let's see. Rain says, does it seem to handle pressure the same way as the Pro Pen 3? Yes. We will cover that exactly, Rain. I'm going to show you some graphs, as I always do, and we're going to exactly see that, okay? Let's see. Beast in the Suez Canal. Thanks for joining us. I've been curious about using your guides for a while now. What do you create with all your supplies? You take technical professional angle for a lot of stuff. Do you do? I do recreational art. It's going to be funny. I just draw memes now. I literally draw peepos. I just draw the most basic, uh, childlike art you can imagine. I deliberately draw them in crude, not crude like topics, but with really unclean lines and, you know, uh, it's all meme art with frogs. Am I capable of drawing something that's more realistic? Yes, yes. I've shown that on stream before. If you join the Discord, there's a channel with all my art. There's that channel. Sorry, there's a post with a thread of my art. You'll even see art I drew in 1989, which was so awful, so cringe-inducing, cringe-inducing. And these are the ones I felt were semi-okay to show people. There's even more cringe-inducing stuff I didn't show. But I don't consider myself an artist. I just like to draw. Pro Pen 2 will remain the most widespread Pro Pen for another decade. Nick is absolutely right. Nick is absolutely right. It will retain the most widely used. There's no doubt about it. Let me get back to my statement, Wacom. So I do think it's a miss, a little bit of a miss, that it doesn't, work with the Intuos Pro 2017, but not a big miss. It's a minor thing. It's a minor irritation. I never had the expectation it would work with those models, okay? I wish it would. I really wish it would. But, they want to upgrade people to new models, so this is just the way they're going to do it. I think it's understandable, okay? It's understandable. The Pro Pen 2 doesn't work with the Intuos 5, does it? It doesn't, right? So it was going to happen one day or another. The other way that is disappointing is they released with 7 tablets that are supported, which is good, but some were just not in the mix. The Intuos Pros were not, the Cintiq Pros from 2022 and 2024 and 2023, those were not included. They're going to add that later in the year, but that's a timing issue. More critically, they are just not supporting the Moving 11, the Moving 13 or the Moving Pad 11. That's a miss. That is a miss. And I'm not going to be shy about saying that. Okay? It is ridiculous to ship a pen like this and then not put it in the Moving. One could make the case the Moving Pad 11 is a consumer tablet. And that's why it doesn't have the Pro designation. Okay, that's a fair comment. But the Moving 13 is, when I bought it was like $800. Now I think it's $600 maybe. It's not a cheap tablet. And it certainly isn't a consumer tablet. To not support that is a miss. And I will be open about saying that. Pro Pen 2 will remain, and Nick is right. Pro Pen 2 is going to be out there forever, right? Now, Wacom has already started not supporting the Pro Pen 2 in some tablets. Moving pads are the example. That's another thing which I think is it's a bad decision. It's a bad decision. I will just say it up front. Now, there's nothing that stops it from working. We know that. Because they have tablets like the one that's in front of me, the Cintiq 16, which works with both. The Cintiq 16 from 2025. So there's not like some secret knowledge on making this work. They have the tech and they know how to make it work. The third miss, which is a point in time thing, which I'll talk about in the document, is the driver firmware update issue. You saw me on stream. That was that did not go smoothly. And I'm just, how can I say this? I admit I'm a sample size of 1, but if randomly I try it and the upgrade experience is not smooth, the firmware, how many other people are encountering that? Probably a lot, honestly. Okay? So that's a miss. That's a miss, and I don't feel bad about saying that. Okay, hang on. I'm going to take some water. Okay. And let's go back to the article for a second. Let's talk more about it. Okay, where is my mouse? Oh, the mouse is not hooked up. That's why not. Where is the mouse? Oh, you know what? Give me a second. Let me go. I need this mouse to work, so just give me 1 minute and I'll be right back, okay? Be right. Where is my window for back? Okay, back. Okay, I am back. I am back. I have my mouse working now, and I just need to adjust my monitors. I also plugged in a new monitor to my Mac Studio. Let's see if I can get the monitors positioned in the right place. This shouldn't affect the stream, so, but just give me a moment. Let's see. That's 20. Yep. And arrange them. Sometimes I think the way Mac arranges monitors is so bizarre. Well, that is bizarre. Let's see. Okay, I think I got this correct now. Let's see if this works. Yeah, it's all working now. Perfect. It's just what I realized is I need 3 monitors to work the stream, and then I need 2 monitors to demo things. So I have 5 screens in front of me. This will actually simplify things because it makes it easier for me to see chat, which is now going to be right in front of me, as well as I'll know exactly what you're seeing in the broadcast. I really need to give people a tour of how I set all this up. It's quite an interesting. Hang on a second. I'm having the world's hardest time resizing a window. There we go. That should be a little bit easier for me. There we go. Great, great. Now I can see. What's funny is I see my face in 3 different places. There's a teleprompter, my live monitoring of what you're seeing, and then there's another thing with just the view from my camera. So all 3 are my face is coming at me. Let's see. Let's get to the chat. Nick says, I have no idea what the problem is with firmware and tablet supporting RPen 2. RPen 1 was supported by a whole range. Yeah, I don't get it. Now, we may have some information on that. The Wacom Control Center app doesn't do anything if you hit firmware update. Yeah, same thing. Have more design. That's exactly what happened to me. And somehow, in the middle of, I tried downloading the firmware. I got the firmware downloaded, but it wouldn't launch. It wouldn't let me do it. Like it launched, but it wouldn't let me update. Somehow in the middle of this process, maybe after a reboot or something, it worked, but it was super frustrating. I couldn't figure out what caused it to work. Let's see, there are a few problems. Yeah, I restarted, yes. Yeah, that's right, good, Nick. I'm glad you remember that. Someone did say try the Wacom update utility. We tried that, that didn't work. It was just a disaster. I think, now, to be fair, we launched the Wacom update utility, and even though it didn't work, something after that, a few minutes after that, then it did work in Wacom Center. We don't know why. 5 monitors, 3 faces. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Okay. So let's get back to what I wanted to show you. So we're just going to go over the. I'm tight. Hang on a second. Let me get the keyboard here, because it's. And let me move this mouse out of the way. Okay. So I will tell you this: the pressure levels were nothing changed. You know that, right? Now these are the specs. So Wacom does not specify the IEF, and it doesn't specify the max pressure. I will show you what I measured. Okay, we will actually take a look at that. So everything here works. Let's show you what it is. Okay, so let's go take a look at the tools. Yeah. So Ness Kane, you seem to have the same experience. Yes, that's correct. I don't know what's causing it, and it's very frustrating. I think I struggled for, I'm going to guess, 30 minutes, or maybe even longer than that on the stream. Let's see, we want my data explorer. You all know how. Let's take a look at the data. Let's see what the data says about this pen. Okay, and this is going to prompt a discussion of a lot of things. So get ready. ACP. Oops, that's on the tablet section. Let's go to pens. ACP 700. Okay. Actually, let me go back for a second. There's something weird there. Oh, I see. It's in the same series as the Pro Pen 3. We're going to look at just the ACP 700. Okay. So let's take a look at pressure response. Okay, so just at let me move my face. Just at first glance, this is great. This is great. Okay, let's see what this tells us. And this tells us some things about Wacom. It tells some things about me, which are going to be important in a second. The curves are super consistent. I love seeing that. Okay? They track each other very closely. Close enough that I would believe some of the deviation you're seeing is not the pens, but me. Okay? I like this. Hey, it's hang on. We got the I'm gonna say the 2000 and 112. Hey, I didn't reply to your email. And let me make sure his comment is up on stream. I didn't reply to your email, but I watched that music video you put on YouTube. I dug it. I dug it. It was cool. It reminded me of the 80s. And that is enough for me to be happy. So thank you for sharing that. Feel free to share the link in the. I think the link is. I think I have the YouTube set up for sharing links. If not, I'll fix it. But yeah, if you want, I'll share it if you're having trouble pasting it in the chat. But thank you for that. I really did appreciate it. And yes, all is well. So what do we notice here? Very consistent. Okay. Now don't worry, we're going to dive deep into this. Let's take a look at the IAF. Now, when you see the dotted line, that's a bit of an estimation. Now I'm going to. I have another way of doing this, so I'm going to find out the more accurate estimation. But you can see they land really around 3. What about max? So here's the actual IAF values. I measured 3 pens, and this is where I found the measurements, right? You can see the actual measurements right here, 3.5, 3.0, and 3.2, okay? That's what I would estimate. Now, some of you are probably thinking, that's weird, doesn't Wacom have... I agree, Nick. I do agree with what Nick is saying here. Look, Saul, okay, I will remember that. It always confuses when people have one name on YouTube. I'm like, what do I say? Oh, I see. Okay. Well, Saul, I really did appreciate it. It was so fun. It was really fun to listen to that. And my apologies for not replying. I've been meaning to reply. Let's see. But Nick says, which I want to say I do agree with, the graph doesn't tell much. And that's an accurate comment. That's absolutely an accurate comment. The graph is only going to tell you a few things. But you need to dig deep. You need to figure out how it's going to feel for you. That's just the truth. Okay. So that's the IAF. Okay. And I'll update the doc in a second. But what about the max pressure? I saw it between, you can see the numbers here, between 547 and 593, right? So it's in the, oh, by the way, I renamed my ranges, okay? Looks like I have a little collision here in the ranges. I'm gonna have to fix that rendering. Instead of giving them names, I used letters. So S tier is the best, then A, B, C, D, right? And then X is excessive. I didn't want to say S++ or S+ because that implies better. So X is like excessive, okay? So they're all S tier for max pressure. I think we should be happy about that. Yeah, Nick, share, please. Let's see what you want to test. Okay, this is good. This is good. Let's take a look at the Pro Pen 3. Okay. Now take a look at the ACP. The Pro Pen 3. Let's take a look at the IAF that I measured. Okay, now you see a 10 in here. I don't know what happened to get 10 here. I think that's probably a mistake. So you ignore the 10, okay? The pressure is really in this range, okay? Now, I improved my pressure testing, so I'm gonna have to retest these. But I would say it's fair to say that my median was 3 point something, so similar IF, okay? Now, what about max? Max is really in pretty much the same place. It's a little bit higher here, but again, we have some variance, okay? We have some variance. So the max pressure is about the same, a little bit higher here with the Pro Pen 3. Taken as a family, the ACP series, the IAF, again, I think this 10th is a mistake. So I'm gonna have to figure out what happened there. And even some of these I think are excessively high. We'll see. We'll see. And max pressure, see, they're all, the family's in a good place. The family of ACP pens is in a very good place. Now, I'm going to show you the Pro Pen 2 because that's going to prompt our discussion on what the heck are we talking about IAF. Okay, so we'll take a look at the Pro Pen 2 series, KP504E. Now look at these pressures I measure from 2.2 to 4.7. Okay? So with the median being 3.1. Some of you are saying, wait a second, 7pen says that Pro Pen 2 has an IAF of less than 1 gram force. And I do say that. So what explains these numbers? We're going to talk about that. Okay? We're going to talk about that. There are two causes why these numbers might be high. My equipment and my technique. Okay? And sorry, I'm struggling with my words here. I want to make sure you understand that I still believe I am the cause why this IAF might be high, at least partially. Now, Cube has tested many pens, and he finds the IAF. Okay, now actually, let's just switch topics for a second. Why do we believe that some Wacom pens have less than 1 gram force IAF? Where did we get this idea at? Right? There's two sources of this information, two primary sources. We're going to show them to you, okay? And once we see these two primary sources, it'll make more sense. So I'm going to go to my IAF document, because I just updated this the other day, okay? So the title of the section is, I just added this on the weekend, is the 1 gram force IAF real? It's a fair question. Are we just spitting back, false information? Are we just quoting something that's a myth? No. Okay, so there's two primary sources to why we believe this is real. Okay? The first one, number one, Wacom has, I'm going to reading it out loud. Wacom has explicitly mentioned this. This is I don't know where this was, if it's a poster or something they produced on their website, I think. I just want to show it in the original Japanese, okay? Now, I don't know why it's not showing up. I'm zooming in, but it's not zooming in enough for some bizarre reason. Another Gitbook bug, which I've tried to track this down with Gitbook so many times, and they're just like, we never see this problem. I'm like, I've reproduced it on multiple operating systems and browsers, but like, we've never heard of this. But sometimes it gets accidentally fixed. So I'm like, I don't think I'm the problem. Anyway, it's in Japanese, which is, I do not read, but I have, stupid. Okay, hang on. I've got the actual raw stuff here. Don't worry, we'll get there. This is why I'll have to have yet another call with Gitbook about why this doesn't work sometimes. I hate when this happens, and I swear I don't think they test this enough, because otherwise it's so easy for me to see. Not everyone sees it, admittedly, but like, hang on, I'm gonna find the let's see. Oh, Nick is saying, people are always debating on pressure levels in IF. You have 10 years old ARPA 1 2K levels. Try zebra testing. Interesting, okay. You know the zebra pattern drawing test? I'm not familiar, actually. You just pick hard, click your brush, and draw vertical lines close to each other, but varying stroke width to make sure. Okay, I'll try it. I think I understand what you're saying. I will try it. Okay, hang on. Let's take a look at the... I'm browsing a my NAS server here to try to find the document I want to show you. Resources, product materials, Wacom, general. Yeah, okay, here we go. So this is the Jap. I just want to show you the actual raw materials, okay? Because if I don't show it to you, I feel like I don't want to invent stuff, okay? So it's actually reasonably high res. Now it says in 204 technology, and then you can just see, there's a couple of things we can see here which hit our eyes immediately. It actually just says 1 gram or 1 GON, right? And we're like, what does that mean? And it says 2048, which we can assume means pressure levels, okay? And it shows the art pen, no, not the art pen, sorry, the grip pen. And it shows some things here, okay? Now this is interesting. There's, it's showing 2 graphs here. We'll find out what those mean in just a minute, okay? So that's our first piece of evidence. Or that's the first half of it. Let's take a look at the actual. Now I use AI to translate this, but let's take a look. Okay, so 1 G on is their like branded phrase. Pressure load, 2048 levels of pressure sensitivity. That's what we thought. Okay, and let's just read the first paragraph here. It's under expressiveness. Enables incredibly nuanced expression. The second generation chip sensor developed to chase the ultimate feel. The chip sensor enables incredibly light initial pressure loads, 1 gram on, which means my interpretation, which if anyone feels free to disagree with me, it means this 1 gram force will activate the pen, okay? Ideal pressure sensitivity characteristics, a truly natural feel. It feels exactly like drawing with pencils or brushes. I think that sentence is disputable, but clearly they talk about 1 gram, okay? 1 gram force. Okay, now this was, I don't know how this was translated. I think if I remember here, yeah, let's take a look. I have a bad translation of it. Okay, now the white line represents, it says here, Urius pen. I think it means previous. And the 2S4 pen. And if we take the graph at it, for what it's showing us, it's showing that this pen, I think, seems to just behave a bit weirder, right? You have to press a bit harder before it starts going up. Now, you might like that, but they clearly say it's activating earlier. Okay, at least that's the graph is implying that. So that's our first bit of evidence, which is Wacom. The second bit of evidence we have is Cube. Okay, so let's go find Cube's data. Give me 1 second. And let me dig it up. Cube, it's in his Wacom tablet master sheet, okay? Great, got it. So he's got a bunch of tabs here in his master sheet. One is called the Wacom pen master sheet. So the tablet master sheet and the pen master sheet. So let's go and take a look here. You know what? I'm gonna ask Gemini to do some stuff. I'm gonna ask Gemini to do something. Okay, but take a look here as we get to, actually, let's not go to the Pro pens yet. So let's read the very first item here, which is the CP923. So you have to read this. It says 4,096 pressure levels, and he's saying approximate physical pressure range. So he's saying at 100%, that's his 100% here, is 291 gram force. 1% is 18, and then 0.0001 is like 8 gram force, right? So you can take here 8 gram force as the IAF, okay? That's how we interpret it. I've got such a great idea here. We'll see if AI can help us. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is, we're gonna scroll down here and take a look. These are all consumer pens. Remember this. LP 1100K, less than 1 gram force, right? LP 190K, less than 1, and there's some variation, the LP 190, 3 gram force. Now these are individual units. But lots of these LP pens are less than 1 gram force. EP pen, 5 gram force. So EP 100, 15 gram force. So Wacom has a history of pens that Cube can measure at less than 1 gram force. Okay, let's talk about Pro pens. There's a bunch of them, including the Pro Pen 2, the KP3, that's the 504. There's the KP501, that's I think the Pro Pen Slim. KP503, I can't even remember what some of these are. But regardless of the pressure levels, they're all showing up as 1 gram force. Do you see? Okay. Now, as you start going back in time, you do see some anomalies. Remember, he doesn't have multiple copies of every pen. Some of them he does. So each row here is a specific pen. Now, but you're seeing a lot of 1 gram force. It's only when you get to these old pens, the UP series, so you get, look at this, 39 gram force, 20 gram force, right? So we have a history of someone who measures it. Now you can fairly ask, maybe Cube measures wrong. And that's a valid question, but I think he does. And more than just taking his word for it, he showed us his measuring apparatus. And we have a clearly evidence that it is not using his, and he does measure by hand, but he actually, because I had this concern, maybe, it's his brain is doing it, but he showed actually a setup where his hand is not touching the scale or the pen. It's just on a little piece of equipment he made. Clearly the scale is showing the gram force, and clearly it is measuring percentage pressure. So I trust his measurements. Okay. Now Cube says that the Pro Pen 3 has a, well, why take a look at what I say? Let's just take a look at what he says. Let's take a look at Pro Pen 3, KP50, he hasn't measured it yet. He hasn't measured it yet. Okay, I forgot about that. But I think he has talked to me about it. He's done it on the Discord. So not just privately with me. He's showing it has, I think, 3 gram force. So if the ACP 700 I find to be 3 gram force, I'm like, okay, that seems to make sense. Okay, that seems to make sense. I will continue to, look, I am going to remeasure all my pens this year with my new apparatus and new technique, which I'm going to show you. Because you're going to see how it works, and maybe you'll have some ideas for me. Okay, while we're at it, let's do a little bit of slop coding. Let's ask Gemini some things here, right? Okay, so I'm going to say the max pressure column, pressure levels column, has max pressure. I'm scared. I don't want to, and I know I can't edit his thing. I'm going to make a copy of it, okay? On my drive. Because I don't want to, I'm scared. Let's see. Saul says, I'm surprised there isn't more cross-platform software for animation between tablets and desktop laptops. Oh, that's right. Actually, Saul, is there any at all? Okay, we're going to see if, this helps us here. Let's see. Okay. We're going to, okay, let's see, split the max pressure level. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it in a more, how can I say this? The max pressure levels column is complex. Split it two columns. One with the max pressure levels and one with the percentage values. Okay, so let's just see if this thing works. Actually, now that I see this, I'm going to try some other stuff here. If this works, I'll be really happy, actually, because I need to sort of incorporate his data. And it's a little bit difficult because the way he's put it together. Okay, I'm gonna let it do its thing. I need to take a quick bio break. I'll be right back. Right back, my friends. Okay, I am back. I am back. Let's take a look at the chat. This is an interesting discussion. When I draw on my iPad, I don't put a lot of pressure on it. I find it interesting that some people wear out the tips. Yes, yes. It's some people are really heavy-handed. And thank you, Nick. I did send out the Discord chat. Now I understand much better. I get it. You like one line is like balancing out the other one. Makes sense. I will definitely try it live on stream. Okay, let's get back to this thing. Let's see what it did. Okay, let's just do what it said, which it's very talkative, isn't it? It's very talkative. Hey, I pay $100 a month now for Gemini, so it better do a good job. I doubt Copilot could do this. Okay. It's still doing its stuff. Feel free to check back in a few minutes. What is this? You're doing nuclear physics? It's the copying and pasting from one thing to another. What is it? They're making this out to be like some big engineering task. Oh, it did it. Okay. Hey, yeah, I like that. It even got rid of the parentheses. This is excellent. Okay, well, let's just let it do its business. I may have asked it for too much. I think I said, well, let's see. I don't know what's waiting for now. This is verification. Okay. It did the right thing. Yeah, it did the right thing. That's the first good thing it's done. Now, this is great. It's saying what? Sorry, it is offering suggestions on what to do now, like analysis to perform. We're not going to get that quite yet. Remove the symbols, like and equals and what the hell? I think he used a little approximation symbol. Is that what I can't really see it very clearly. A wave, is that a wavy line? Yeah, it is. Okay. And the GF units from the value. Yeah, let's just see if it understands. In the values for the selected column. I don't know if I need to say for the selected column. It might actually understand. Okay. So we'll just see. Okay. Excel 97. Well, but it can't do it for you. But I'm surprised it was like this kind of like, it has to really think about this. I wonder if I can I could probably add his data set into my data set. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if it's the right thing to do, because I would miss any updates he makes. I'm just trying to make this simpler for me to parse later. That's why I'm getting rid of the less than, greater than, about symbol. Like, it's good enough he just has what he has. Great job. See, you did a great job of that. Okay, next I'm going to say, okay. I'm going to ask it to delete delete the rows that don't have data in the for, what is this called? Okay, yeah, let's do that. I could definitely do that manually, but why do anything? Make the Google do all the work. Well, we're gonna take a what we're gonna do is we're gonna just get some data here and plot it out so you can see more precisely how Wacom's pens, according to Cube, have behaved. And then we'll get back to our pen too. This is a little scary. Yes, Nick, I have done that. In fact, I have a tool to show you the curve that will linearize. I'll demonstrate that. Remind me if I don't show it. Yeah, whenever you have AI work on data, you have to be a little careful it's not deleting or modifying things you didn't expect. With code, you could have unit tests and all sorts of validation procedures, but this gets a little harder. Okay, great. Okay. Then I'm gonna... What do I want to do with this? This is like a... I'm gonna get rid of this category column because it's not helpful. And I don't need these columns. I just want to clean up the data so I don't have to think about it. I do need that. I don't care about weight. Oops, hang on. I'm going to delete a few more columns. Again, this is just so it's easier for us to deal with this data. Okay, great. Now we only have a couple of columns to work with. Did it feel terrible? Nick says. No, it did not feel terrible. I guess the feeling I would have is I don't know what... I used to think maybe linear is what you wanted. For a mathematical sense, that makes some kind of sense. Now I'm not sure. I'm not sure if... I don't know if I could confidently say, well, a default linear response is ideal. I think it just depends on what you're trying to do and what your personal preferences are. I think the thing that can be said about linear is that it offers less weird behavior at low pressure, when you're close to the IEF. So that is an advantage. And I think pens should be linear by default. I mean, at least the way we get them. Which this discussion about linearity is going to come up in a minute. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this column or this row because it's just a heading row. And get rid of this one since it's not a... Oh, get rid of row. Okay, there we go. Now we have... Okay, this is good. Now, look at this. We're going to graph... Actually, I'm going to get rid of this row because it's kind of crazy. Okay, and let me just take a look at the rest here. Okay. Some values. This is actually interesting because doing this by hand is kind of hard. some values contain ranges. Like this indicates multiple hens of the same model. Split those. This is complex. I would have not a problem explaining this to a human, but saying this to an AI is going to be a bit weird. Split those rows into two were measured, okay? Into two rows. This is ambiguous. This is highly ambiguous. What it thinks it's doing. This is where it could mess up. Basically, if you take a look at this row right here, 5 to 20, it's not 5 minus 20. One pen went 5, one went 20. So rather than modeling that as a range, I'm just saying split it in two rows. Now, I don't know if it will understand this. Wacom never did pens with linear graphs. They always use strong C-curved. I do believe, okay, so there's an interesting question here, Nick, which is the C-curve deliberate, or just, is it me, or like that's just the way the hardware is? It's unclear to me. My intuition is that the hardware just does it that way. Oh, it did it. Damn. That's hard to do. It actually got this done, which is remarkable. Okay, now we're gonna say, okay, plot all the approximate physical pressure ranges with x-axis is the physical pressure and y-axis is the logical pressure. So let's just see what his own data says. Intentionally. Interesting. If it's intentional, everyone's copying them. I think it's I'd love to talk to them about this. They'll never talk to someone like me. Okay, let's see. Where is it? Okay, it says insert, so let's insert. Draw this. No, show it as a line chart. One line series, one line, a line for each pen. So this is Cube's measurements we're looking at now. Yeah, I mean, let's see. I love this. This is useful. Rain asks, maybe it's the nibs. Apple Pencil has no movement in the nib and has more linear. I'll be honest, I think the nib would not contribute to this, given the way the pressure is measured. I honestly suspect that the Apple one is due to a deliberate calibration. Okay, this is all guesswork, so don't take this seriously. The Apple Pencils are too linear. Like, to me, that's suspicious. I almost think that they have been calibrated to be linear, which makes sense because you want them to behave the same way. Their maximum pressures seem very similar, and the linearity and the shape of each curve for every pen I've tried has been linear. So that feels artificial to me. Not bad, just they're deliberately making it that way. Okay, let's do that. the heck? Why did it not do that? I asked it to. Okay, I'm gonna have to edit the chart. A line chart, yeah. No, this is so stupid. It's not doing what I want. Not as. So this is where you get into problems with AI. Like, how do you look? I don't want this interactivity. I just want a. What does this even mean? They messed this up again. Hang on. We'll get back to Propend 2. Before that, I want to. The sheet type is not supported by Gemini. Then what are we talking about? That was stupid. Oh, sorry. Control Z that one. Okay. No. It's messed this up completely. It's completely messed this up. Make the x-axis the physical pressure. The y-axis, the percentage value. This is so like, it's not understanding this at all. What? Let's see. True if they're very linear. It's like a little suspect. Yes, Rain. I'm curious of the difference in how the Apple Pencil detects pressure. I think the Apple Pencil does have a pressure sensor, but of course they don't use EMR, right? EMR is not, I think, the cause of the pressure difference. But it is possible that they use a specific kind of sensor, or they are very consistent with their pressures in some sense. Okay, now. Okay, great. Great. Now, each pen should be one line. Each pen row should be O of data for the pen should be one line on this chart. So we should see multiple lines, and it does not understand what I'm trying to get at. Like, it's got the data, I just want it to connect the damn lines. And it's like, oh, I'm confused on how to correct lines. I'm looking over its typing now, and it's gonna make sense. And this is all about the Propend 2, so we'll get back to it in a minute. I just want to see this work. Again, the point was to show you that Wacom pens do have a history of 1 gram force, and it's real. We believe this for sure. And it's not an accident, and it's not just guesswork. Cube has measured these pens for years. Now, what I'd like to be able to do, don't get me wrong, there we go. So you can see what his measurements look like. Take a look at my measurements. They're very similar, right? Nick, it sounds like you know something with the Apple Pencil. Tell us why it sucks, though. I mean, just take a look at this, right? And if we zoom in, can we zoom in? I don't know. the point is these are really low there in the 1 gram force. Some are high, yeah, but a bunch of them are at 1 gram. Okay, so we think this is real. This is a pretty chart. Okay, so I just wanted to share this with you, let you know this is, this is real and not accidental. We have strong reasons to believe this. Okay, now let's get back to what our topic is. Let's take a look at, I was showing you my data. So this is where we get there. Maximum pressure is this is the Pro Pen 2. But in terms of pressure, this thing is very good. Tablet compatibility is where we're having problems with the Art Pen 2. At time of launch, we have these, was it 1, 2, 3, actually only 5. But Cintiq Pro 27, 22, and 17 are coming this year. We just don't have, Move Ink 11 is not on the list, that's bad. I will say another thing about the pen I noticed is the, oops, not this, somewhat, this, okay, yeah. The shape is great. I love the shape. I also love there's branding on it. There's the word Wacom is written on the pen, which is great. As an owner of like 150 pens, I like when the name of the brand is on the tablet or on the pen. The screw top. The Pro Pen 3 screw top is notoriously coming loose. This has not come loose one time, okay? Whatever change they made, it's just on there. Weirdly enough, it seems just as easy to unscrew. It just doesn't come loose by itself. So that's remarkable. Another test, which we're gonna do, just real quick. Let me go get a Pro Pen 3. 1 second. Where is my, there we go. Okay, Pro Pen 3 is in front of me, and I took off the top. And just so to try this out, I'm gonna just bring these both up here. Pro Pen 3's in this hand, oops, and Pro Pen 2. They have different shapes here. They look about the same height, but this is definitely bigger. So for example, if I tried to screw this on the Pro Pen 3, is the Art Pen 3, like, it will actually screw in a little bit, okay? But, well, it seems like it is, but it's just rotating. It's not actually screwing in. It won't fit. Nor, of course, will the Pro Pen, well, we can try it out to verify, but the Pro Pen 3 thing will not, will it screw in? Actually, it will screw in tight. So if you're in the mood for the Pro Pen 3 tip, or the, what do you call this, top, it will screw on. I'm not sure I can get it out of the way. There seems to be some friction. But more importantly is you can take out the nibs here and you can actually use the weight, right? This actually fits in there, believe it or not. There's a spring in there, right? Just like there's a spring in the Pro Pen 3, okay? So look, as Otness, and this Otness discovered this, not me. So it looks like it was actually designed to use this. So if you do want, let's see if it actually fits though. It does fit, right? You can put the weight in there. So if you want to have your Pro Pen, Art Pen 2, you can put in that, let's see, active pen is not stable at all. There is no magical sensors or anything. It's just a bunch of software stabilizers. Well, I think when I'm drawing slow with the Apple Pencil, especially with the ruler, that wobble is noticeable, which is surprising. Most people, I guess, just don't notice it. So if you want a heavier pen, I will say with the weight, it almost feels a bit too heavy. Not too heavy. It feels more unbalanced, maybe. I kind of don't like it with the weight for some reason. So that's the other thing. Where are my nibs? I just threw away my nibs. Let's see, the nib holder, that's fine. Buttons, yeah, let me show you some photos. Let's show some photos here. Give me a second. I got some photos to show you about the buttons. Hello. I'm trying to open a photo here. As soon as it opens up, I'll show you. My laptop is having problems opening this photo, which is weird. Oh, it's probably just because it has to reconnect to the NAS. Okay. Let me reassemble this pen. Okay. So let me show you a few photos here, which I think are going to help you. So there are 3 buttons. Okay. Here's the first, oh, you can't see it. Okay. Here are the first 2, right? This is actually a very similar switch to what's on the CP923. And then there's this 3rd button. 3rd button is heavily textured, and it comes out at an angle. Do you see that? Right? Like if I show it from the extreme side, it's much more obvious. Right? It actually, when you're using it, it doesn't feel really much different. I would say that you can feel the 3rd button, but it doesn't like interfere in any way, right? It is a bit unusual to see it, but the other thing is that it is heavily textured, and you can see a little bit of that here, right? As we zoom in, and I haven't actually I used a microscope actually to show it. This is a kind of a hexagonal pattern, so there's a definite feeling. You feel the roughness. It's not bad, just you know which button you're touching. Okay, and this is the inside where you can see this is the spring, I think. Okay, the nibs, yeah, you get 3 nibs. Grips, of course, this is a different shape. None of the Pro Pen 3 grips will work with it. There's no separate grips for it, as far as I can tell. I will say the pen, after using it for some days, a week, the pen definitely feels it's better in the hand. The texture feels good. It feels grippier. Okay, it doesn't feel slick and like it's gonna slide out of your hand. Barrel rotation was fantastic. I had no problems with it. Some people felt like, oh, is it going to be better or worse than the KP701, the R Pen 1? No difference whatsoever, okay? But there are some things I just want to remind people because they forget about how barrel rotation works, okay? Number 1 is that if a pen supports barrel rotation, that doesn't mean you get barrel rotation in your tablet. Not all tablets support barrel rotation, okay? So keep that in mind. Number 2, not all apps support barrel rotation, okay? Number 3, even if your app does support barrel rotation, you'll have to configure your app's brush to use barrel rotation. They usually don't have that enabled by default. And one more thing which surprises people. So we're used to pressure having like 8,000 pressure levels. Barrel rotation does not have that many levels. It has 360 degrees. That's it. Not, so you go from 0 degrees to 1 degree to 2 degrees to 3. You don't go like 0.01 degrees. It's not that resolution, okay? So just keep that in mind. Not that you'll ever notice, but I do want you to keep it in mind. Okay, so here's some more pictures. Yeah, nothing too surprising here, honestly. I didn't realize I added these pictures to the dock. So I'm going to be doing a quick video on the Pro Pen 3. So far, everyone's liking it, honestly. The only issue is the compatibility. Compatibility is going to be a problem. To be honest, even that makes me feel a bit odd because I like the Pro Pen 2 works with so many of my tablets, okay? And it makes it convenient because sometimes I'm testing with the Intuos Pro 2017 and the 2025, and like I can just switch back and forth easily. But here it's like, I'm gonna have to keep track of a new pen. But all that being said, I do love this pen. So I think it's a win. I think this is an S tier pen. Okay, this easily joins the ranks of the Pro Pen 3. IAF, I think, is still 3 gram force, but I think that's real because the Pro Pen 3, according to Cube, also has a 3 gram force, and he would know if it had a 1 gram force. IAF. So I don't notice that, but he can notice it and can measure it. So there's that. Nick says barrel roll is a very niche feature. I guess 90% of users will never use it. As for Pro Pen 3, I don't have much experience with tested a few times here and there, but I stay on Pro Pen 2 so far. Yeah, look, if you had just have me rank them all, I would still say Pro Pen 2 is the king of the hill. It just is. It just is. But I'm gonna commit to using the art pen for a while, right? Not because I'm forcing myself. I just think it's a good pen. I like the feel of it. Okay, so that was Art Pen 2. Now, we've got to talk about pressure. I want to talk about mystery. These are the... Did anyone ever play Fallout 4? Anyone? I'm looking in the chat. Fallout 4 has one of my favorite characters. His name is Nick Valentine. Nick Valentine is a synth, a robot, an android. Let me bring up a picture of Nick Valentine here. Hang on. Nick Valentine. And the voice actor is so amazing. Let's see if we can find a good image of Nick. Yeah, now he looks a little scary because he's got kind of glowing eyes and his rubber skin is basically this really messed up. But he looks like a scary. He's not scary. He's a super nice synth. Now this is going somewhere, by the way. This is going somewhere. That's Nick Valentine. Okay. Honestly, I'd love a game focused just on Nick Valentine. But he speaks with like a 1940s detective accent. Okay, and the reason I'm bringing him up is he's obviously involved in some detective cases, right? And that's what we're doing right now. We've got a detective case going on. And I feel like Nick Valentine right now. Because I feel like I'm uncovering, the the underside of some weird things. So let's just begin with, let's see, have more design. I use all the time for blocking and artwork. I probably use it 50-50. Oh, interesting, with the Pro Pen 3. For blending, it's because the original art pen doesn't feel as fluid for pressure. We'll investigate that claim as well. I can probably see why someone might say that. Let me get to my pressure analysis, if I can find it. So let's compare the Art Pen 1, okay? Which is the 701E. Is that right? 701E? Not 701, sorry. Yeah, KP701E Art Pen. And I do have some measurements here. So here's what I got, right? I measured twice. So I got two IAFs, one of 2.7, one for 3.4. Need to remeasure these, to be quite honest. And what about the max pressure? Well, I got some wild results here. I got 277 gram force, which is just in the okay category. Oh, it's actually in the good category. Okay is like that's the okay category. So just okay. You want to be up. A is really good, where I expect it to be. Now it could be I got a defective pen. Maybe I broke something. Again, I'll have to remeasure these. We can do that live on stream, by the way. This is another reason why I don't have enough data, but I could understand why someone may not like the Art Pen. Okay? Clearly, neither one of these hit what the Pro Pen 2 was doing. Nick says, I would say I can't feel much improvement from Pro Pen 2 to Pro Pen 3. Nothing wrong with the new one, just Pro... Yeah, no, Nick, you're right. As always, Nick has just got right to the point. Pro-Pen 2 is the king of the hill. It is the king of the hill. It's got the greatest compatibility, the lowest IEF, the highest max pressure. It feels good. In what sense can one easily dethrone it? No, it's not easy, right? Van Boykmas, I have both Art Pen 2 and Pro Pen 3. I can say for some reason Art Pen 2 is smoother to me. Okay. Something about it I like, and I have a hard time explaining exactly why, because it should be the same tech as the Pro Pen 3. Have more design. It definitely changes between the light and harder pressures a lot faster than my older pens. Interesting. Okay. Now we're going to explore the danger zone. Here we go. It begins, so I got a new way of testing my pens. Same physical equipment, but new process in terms of how I manipulate the equipment. I'll demonstrate it for you. It looks stupid as hell, okay? It is not fancy, but it works more reliably. Number 2, I added software. I vibe coded software. Actually, I coded it myself manually, and then I added some, and then I vibe coded on top of that to make it even better, because I'm a vibe coder now. But it's making it easier for me to measure pressure, and I think my goal is to be able to measure a pen's pressure, that give those graphs. Right now, that takes me if I'm doing it fast, it takes 15 minutes, maybe 20, 30 minutes sometimes. It's delicate and it irritates me and I hate it. I hate measuring the pen's pressure. I think there's a 50-50 chance in my mind I can get that down to 30 seconds or even 15 seconds. I'm not joking. I will show you what I'm talking about. It's a combination. It's mostly the software, but it's also a combination of the way I use the equipment. Okay. Yes. Let's see. Nick says, with Pro Pens, you can configure them to use different pressure curves. For example, one pen with hard tip. What? Wait a second, Nick. Let's parse that statement, because I don't know if that's. Okay, I think there's 2 different ways of interpreting this. Here's the way I agree with. You can make the Pro Pen 2 behave one way and the Pro Pen 3 behave one way. I think we're all in agreement on that topic. Another way I agree. You can make the Pro Pen 2 behave one way with one app and make them behave a different way with another app. I think that's orthogonal what you're saying, but I think we both agree. I don't think you can make the Pro Pen 2. You can't take 2 units, conveniently I have 2 units, of the Pro Pen 3 and make them behave different ways with a pressure curve. Okay, and I'll prove this to you. Okay? Because this is good. This is a good. I'm gonna bring up. So I'm on a Cintiq right now, okay? So I just touched the Pro Pen 3, the first pen, okay? And just for you and me, I'm gonna put some blue painting, some masking tape on this one, because it's gonna matter in a minute, okay? Blue Pro Pen 3, okay? Notice it says Pro Pen 3 on the screen. I'm gonna touch the second pen. Second pen is there, okay? So notice nothing's happening. That's the blue pen. That's the red pen, since it has red on it. No blue, non-blue. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna take a little bit of tape here, which is not meant for this purpose, but I'm gonna use it. It'll help me use color names instead of using left or right. Okay. So 2 Pro Pen 3s, one is yellow, one is blue. Okay, now does the Wacom driver know they're different pens? It should. Let's see, there should be some sort of diagnostic thing here. I don't know where it is anymore. Okay, let's try the Wacom tablet properties. Okay, take a look at this. We're gonna go to About, Diagnose. Okay, so Blue Pen has a device serial number of 2290 4062. 2290 4062. Yellow Pen 25 88 83 2B. So these clearly are different serial numbers. The driver knows these two different pens. Okay? What you cannot do is do the following. You cannot have the blue pen have one curve and the yellow pen have another curve. Could it be done? Yes. Like, in theory, could Wacom make this happen? Yes. So, either I am mistaking something, or you know a technique I don't know. So just to prove what I believe, I'm going to change the, on the blue pen, I have changed the pressure curve to be this, okay? Blue pen, okay? I'm drawing with the blue pen. Now I'm going to switch to the yellow pen. Same pressure curve is applied, okay? So Nick, if you can clarify your comment about which, so I think you mean between different Pro Pen models, not different units of the same model of Pro Pen. So if you can just clarify that. So I want us to be on the same page. Okay, now we get to the Nick Valentine. I want to talk like Nick Valentine with his accent. I don't even know. How does a detective talk? Hang on. Let's find out. You know what? I'm going to ask AI, as I always do. I'm going to ask AI to help me out here. Gemini. Okay. Invent some dialogue like a 1940s private detective talking about investigating drawing tablet pens and uncovering a secret about how their pressure works. I'm not joking. That's exactly what I'm typing in, and I'm gonna read out what it says too. I'm gonna try to do a Nick Valentine accent as well. How their pressure response works. Okay, let's just see. No, not fountain pens. Fountain pens. I mean digital pens, like a Wacom. It's giving me like fountain pen talk. I'm like, I don't want fountain pen talk. That's not what I'm going for. Let's see. You see, sweetheart, the dame with the tech firm told me it was magic. Said the tablet just knew how hard the designer was pressing. Said the glass had feelings. I don't do these accents well. I'm just joshing with you. But it's just, they call it a Wacom. Sounds like a nightclub in Chinatown. But it's a high-class racket. Actually, this is really clever dialogue I came up with. But like Nick Valentine, I am busting open some weird things, okay? And let's just get to it. Enough joking around with the AI. Let's see what I discovered. I wish I could explain it to you. Okay. So we're going to talk about UD-EMR pens. And I remeasured a whole bunch of my pens, okay? So the first thing you're going to encounter is time. Some of these pens I measured 2 years ago. Some a day or two ago. There have been firmware updates. There have been new tablets. I'm just telling you right up front, I cannot explain what is going on, and it is so weird. Let's start with CP923, the Wacom One Standard pen. Okay, take a look at this. Okay, it looks like a mess. right? It looks like a mess. And you're probably thinking, this isn't anything special. So what? So what? Let me color this not by session, but by tablet. What? What? Same pens with 2 tablets. Their max and IEF pressures are the same, basically the same range. But 1 tablet, very different behavior. What the orange one? What is the orange one? That's the Intuos Pro 2025. The other tablets are the Samsung Galaxy Book and the Wacom One M CTC 6110WL. So let's just take a look at those numbers. Okay? So we're going to look at this one by one here. These were my original measurements back in 2024. So September 2024. So we're looking at really very close to 2 years now. Now I remeasured these on the same tablet. Okay? And I had a new pen as well, so I have to make sure I compare just the old ones I have. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so something weird happened here. Right? Oops, sorry. I included one I did not mean to include. Okay, here we go. Something weird happened here. They used to curve like this. So the begin and end of the same place. That's good. That means that my testing procedure didn't suddenly go crazy in terms of the IEF and max. Okay, that's a good sign. But the curve is different. My theory is Wacom, in part of their efforts to remove some of the problems that were found, they induced a pressure curve either in the firmware or a driver, or they modified the one that's already there to change the pressure response behavior. So the pens, while not linear in their pressure response, are much more linear than they used to be. Okay, that's data point number 1. I'm gonna get rid of the first measurements because I do trust these new measurements, okay? So here's where we're at. Now, let's go, then I measured these. This is the CP913, sorry, it's 923. I measured these and I have a new pen, 4th pen. So all 4 pens are very consistent, okay? Their IEFs are about 8 gram force and their max pressures are between basically 200 to 300. Decent. It's actually not bad. Now, for a consumer pen. Now I'm going to turn on the Intuos Pro 2025. Now, what would you expect? The jagged stuff, Nick, that's me. That's me. I'll talk more about why they appear jagged, but that's not the pen. That's all me. I can demonstrate this for you. It's basically how I have to shift from lower to higher weights causes a weird effect, okay? And it's not the pen's fault at all. The pen, trust me, they are actually smooth. And I can demonstrate for you that they're smooth as well. It's all due to the measuring thing. That's why you have to take a look at the overall shape, not any weird little thing. Okay, now we're gonna add the Intuos Pro 2025. Now, of course, I expected the same behavior. I didn't get that at all. Whoa! Something is weird here. Now, I want you to remember, I think I measure pressure consistently, especially maximum pressure. I don't really have, I can have variations. They may go up, over the years, the measurements may shift a bit, sometimes more. But this isn't a random shift. This isn't like the pens are random. They're all shifted. They're shifted over as the entire pressure range is shifted. Okay, and we're going to talk about the implications of this. And then there's something even weirder. Take a look at the IAF. Well, we got a problem here. With the CTC 6110WL, take a look at the IF. It increases to like 5%. Like it jumps up there. And it starts climbing kind of naturally. Okay? But with the Intuos Pro, the IF is forced to stay down at like 0.1% or 0.1% for quite a while. Okay? So it's got like a foot. It's like this, and then it climbs up. Let me do it so you can see it. Like this, and then it climbs up. Okay, so let's go back and see both of them. Okay, then I'm like, okay, what are the implications of this statement? I believe that either the firmware or the driver is messing around with the IAF, or not the IAF, but it's not changing the IAF, it's changing the response. It's using a special pressure curve, which is making the pens behave worse on the Intuos Pro 2025. It's creating a little foot, meaning you're pressing, starting at 8 to 15, and it should be going higher, but it's actually just staying at 1% or 0.1%. I have evidence for all 4 pens. Yes, Nick, I did check the default pressure curve. And I will also repeat this on a completely separate machine and repeat. So you're right, that's the first thing I checked, and I did check. So that's just weird. Number 2, the max pressure is at least 100 or around like 150 gram force higher. It puts the max pressure, the smallest max pressure now is 300 gram force. And the maximum is like 420, 450, something like that. How do they increase the max pressure? Well, you can't change the hardware. What does this tell you? What does this tell you? This tells me, I have no other explanation for this other than there is a pressure curve either applied by the Intuos Pro 2025 firmware or the driver where, I'm saying this in a weird way. It is not applying the same pressure curve. Meaning the CTC 61W might be applying a pressure curve which is actually reducing the maximum pressure of those pens. You see the problem, right? In other words, there are things happening that are making these pens worse. One is happening on the CTC 6110WL, and one is happening on the Wacom Intuos Pro 2025. One is decreasing, it seems, the maximum pressure, and one is mucking around near the IAF. Now, I tried on yet another device. I said, let's get the driver out of the system. Let's knock out the driver. Let's test with a Samsung Galaxy Book Galaxy Book 5 Pro 360, which is a 2-in-1 tablet, meaning I can draw on it with a UD EMR pen, like this one. What will happen? Anyone want to take a bet? This is going to be in green. Okay. On the Samsung, the pressures match the non-Intuos Pro models. Okay? Now, and they're curved. All these tests were a day or two ago. They were on what? I know the exact date. 2 days ago. So, what's going on? Why would the Samsung have more of a curve? I think what this actually says is Wacom, the curve is induced by maybe the driver of the Wacom driver, not by the firmware. So lots of interesting things to parse here. Now the max pressure and the IF are very similar. So I don't think they mucked around with that. I get like 9, 6, whereas I was getting like 9s and a 10, right? And so IF didn't really change. So this is a mystery. which makes me realize now I'm gonna have to retest these. Now, oh, I did the S pens. Let's take. I didn't do as many systems, but let's go take a look at the S pens. I did all of them, I think, yesterday or the day before. Let's go take a look. Samsung. So we'll just take a look at all the S Pen series. Okay. So let's just take a look at the pressure response for all of them. Okay. So some of these were done last year. These are the ones that are done. Sorry, I'm going to show you the ones that were done 2 years ago. Okay. 1 second. Okay. Notice they have some weird stuff at the beginning, and then they curve. They go up and they bend over. Now let's try it. I did these same pens on the CTC 6110, and I did these. I think I have more pens now, so I have to make sure I get the same numbers here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Look at that. How do you explain these things? How do they get linear? Somebody's putting in a pressure curve. Somebody's putting in a pressure. It ain't me. It ain't me. Okay? Doesn't make any sense. But as Nick mentioned, the first thing I need to debug is let's make sure that I haven't somehow created a linear pressure curve. I did check multiple times. I will recheck it. I will try on another machine. We'll see where I get to. But this is, to me, is shocking. Now, my new measurements are also better at the IAF. So let's just take a look if I found any difference. Slight reduction. About the same, honestly. About the same. But something is going on. Something is going on. Okay? So I just want to show you this very interesting behavior here. I didn't try the S Pens on the Intuos Pro, so we'll see about that too. Now, why would the max pressure go up? My testing is better, so that might be another reason. Okay. They went up by like, I don't know, 60 or 70 gram force. But again, that can be I wasn't always good at this. Okay. So we'll figure that out. Okay. Let's take a look at the IF to see anything weird happened. No, nothing really weird happened. So those are my mysteries. Now, let's go show you my measuring stuff. Oh, Nick has a comment. Not a fact. You need to play with curves and real use like a zebra test. What is a real problem for me is jitter and measuring low pressures. Well, Nick, there's 2 ways to fix that. Change the pressure curve a little bit and add some pressure smoothing. If you want, we can try that online. I'll show you what I do. Right? It's very effective with that jitter. Super effective. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me just check something. Where's my phone? And then I'm going to go get my measuring equipment, and then we're going to try something very special. Okay? Make sure I don't have any. Okay. I'm going to get my measuring equipment, and then we're going to try this live, and you're going to see crazy stuff. Real crazy stuff, okay? But I'm going to need to clear out my desk a little bit for this to happen. Okay, so I'll be back in just a minute with the equipment, and then we'll start really investigating things. Okay, hang on. Where am I going here? I need to change this to backsuit. Okay, I am back. I am back. Thanks for waiting. I got my equipment. And hey, BSART Studios, good to see you. Thanks for joining the stream. And Mr. Danderskoff is here. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, we just got into some kind of wild topics. And we talked about the art pen too, and now we went through some weird discoveries about pressure. And now we're going to take a look at you can actually see me measure pressure. This is going to be a little bit weird to see. How has the pen stuff been so far? It's been great. It has been great, Mr. Danderskoff. This is a wild time for pens. And that's nice because we haven't had much drawing tablet news. Okay, I need to turn on the overhead. Let's see. Overhead. Let's see if we can get this camera on. Well, first of all, is it on now? I don't know. Unclear. Oh, it is on now. Okay, so let's just fix that. You can see, you're about to see some of my monitors in a second. Hang on a second. I told people I have 5 monitors in front of me. People aren't even listening. So yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. And then there's 2 more. Okay. That's this is my streaming setup. Okay. Let's see. Did you do this with other tablets from other brands or just Wacom based? I did it with Wacom and a Samsung tablet, a Samsung Galaxy Book 5 Pro 360. But I also, of course, test pens from other brands, like a bunch of Huion pens and XP pens, etc. Okay, so you're seeing it here. Let's try to explain what you're looking at. This is just a weight. By the way, this is crude and silly, and there are many things about this I want to change, but I don't have mechanical skills. Okay, I can change a tire on my car, and I'm good at that. But building things, cutting wood, screwing things in, I can use a screwdriver. But making things that do things, I could not even make a lever. Let's just say it that way. That's how bad I am. Okay. Now, let's see. Mr. Danderskoff, respect for the black curtains. Look, I like the sunlight when I want it, but especially in my house is in such a way that the sun comes in bright, and as the evening, it comes for evening, it's straight into my face. So I have these blackout or something like blackout curtains. Also, just keep the room not so hot. But I like to keep it dim generally. Yeah, but like a lot of pens. And in case you're wondering, well, if you watch the stream, you'll see how many pens I test. Okay, this is my digital scale. Now it is a US solid scale with 0.1 gram force resolution. Now I'm going to plug it in to my, reach over here. My hub. Okay. You're going to see my actual process here. And we're going to we can test things if you want, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go download a tool. So give me a second as I locate the tool. A tool which I vibe coded. Let's see. You think it looks cool, BSART? Oh, good. Thank you. Where am I? I'm going to GitHub. GitHub. Let's get to GitHub. Continue. GitHub can't be reached. What do you mean it can't be reached, dude? Oh, maybe it's down. No, it's not down. I just had a bad URL. Okay. So let's get back here. We're going to find, it's called Profiler, Pressure Profile. I've been vibe coding so many things. Okay, and I have a release 2 days ago. Yeah, that's about right. Let's go download it. So, wait till you see the rest of this. It's silly, actually, how all this works. Okay, let me extract this. While it's extracting, I'm going to show you the rest of this really silly setup. Okay, little weights. You'll see what. Oh, I'll need one more thing. Give me a second. I need one more thing. I'll be right back. Okay, what I needed was this. This is called a yardstick or a meter stick or something. Believe it or not, this is critical, but not for measuring things. It's just for stability. Okay, so how do I measure a pen? Let's find a tablet first. Let's pick this in 2OS Pro 2025, which is the large one, which I don't like. I don't want to use this. I don't want to use this, actually. Because it's going to be hard to see. It's going to be hard for you to see. Okay, give me one more second. I got to find the right thing. Okay, here we are. I found it in 2OS Pro 2025 Medium, which is much better because you can see the scale. Okay. So before I actually turn on the equipment, let me just tell you how it works. Critical to this is the Dragon Ball complete box set. I'm not joking. Its purpose is to be a base. Next critical piece, I know this is so awful. Paper. This is just to increase height so I can match the tablet. I think that's what I need, something like that. Next is there's some foam that came with something I bought, and I've taped to it this metal ruler. The metal ruler is just for stiffness, not to make it completely stiff, to give it a little bit of bend. But if it was just this foam, it would bend too easily. So that's, again, it's stupid. Okay? Okay, so we're not quite there yet. I'm gonna put in an Art Pen 1 here, okay? And I'm just gonna show you, I cut a slit through here. Can you see it? It's cut through a little bit. I did this because I don't want to tape pens in there. I mean, I don't mind, but like it's so much faster just to slide it in there. And there's usually, with bigger pens, there's enough friction to hold the pen in. Now, for reasons that aren't obvious, you see the pen sticking out. I like to keep the pen not just at the border. You'll see why in a minute, okay? Now, this is the fundamental setup. And what I do here is, let me take this off. I turn on the scale. Oh, the scale isn't plugged into power. Well, I guess I got to do that now, don't I? Can I do it? Can I reach the power? I don't even know if I can reach it. Let's see. I might be able to do this. Just barely. Ooh. Okay, scale is there. I mean, if it's not stupid, it works. That's true. But I would like it to be more reliable and easy to set up. And this is over 2 years of thinking about this. Let's see. So with grams of force, I assume we'll put the tablet on the scale. Exactly right, Mr. Danderskov. But there's some software stuff here that makes it much easier. I'll show you that in a second. Because we need to know not only what the scale says, but what the pressure reading is. So we have to have two numbers, right? So I'm going to, you have to make sure the cables don't touch the tablet. Basically, you turn on this thing. You can see this readings here. And then, as Mr. Danderskov says, you got to tear the tablet. Now, we auto tear. Tear is T-A-R-E. And in science land, for some reason, that's the word they use that says sort of zero it out. So we want to see we want to stay zero when something's weight is on it. We need the tablet. Okay, so that's what we got to do. Now the tablet is I always use wired, but it's not wired connected right now. I'll show you that in a minute. Just the basics though is you make sure it's and it goes out of its zero config. So every now and then you got to press tear again and wait a few seconds while it's like, okay, I know what the new zero is. Okay. So then the fundamental thing is you just take this here and you put it down. Okay. And you can just see right now it's reading. Now you give it a few seconds and you say 56.2 gram force, right? That's how much, and it's the only thing, the pen is the only thing touching this. Okay. Now this reads, we'll find out how many samples per second, but it updates. But let's just say it's doing 10 samples a second or something like that. The pen is giving 200 samples per second. So there's a little bit of a mismatch and there's a little bit of a delay, okay? But we will deal with that. Now in practice, this doesn't work well. Sorry, as I've shown it to you, it's incomplete. I need to get another cable. Give me a second. I'm going to figure out where the cables are here. Where are my cables? Okay, hang on. Let's see. Where is that cable? Could this be it? Nope. Gotta find the cable. This might actually work though. I dropped an art pen. Yeah, this cable will work. This is fine. Okay. So give me a second. I'm gonna have to connect this, and it's gonna look awkward. So I'm gonna put "be back soon." It'll just take a few seconds. Okay, I'm back. Tablets weigh 4 gram force. Well, I don't know where you saw that thing. Okay, so I'm gonna plug this in. This should work. I've got the Wacom driver. You should. Okay, yeah, it's seeing it there. Even a solid plate of lead of that size was not before. Yeah, something. Express keys. No, I don't want fucking express keys. Sorry, dude. There's a way to turn off all those things too, which I have to remember how now. I think it's here. And general settings. Disable all express keys. Okay. So this is the medium. You can see there's an. Oops, I don't know if you can see the number. Let me change the. There we go. See the number 49.6. Okay. And right there, the number. So let's get. Okay. So we teared with the pen on. We don't want that. Okay. So what really happens though is, I go from light to heavy. Now, if I just put the pen on there, it's going to be 50, 60 grams, okay? Because the weight of the pen is, the force on the pen includes this weight, right? So what I like to, and I like to keep the pen, the reason that, I like to keep the pen, you know, as vertical as I can. So here's what I do. I take this big 5 kilogram weight, and I put it on this metal piece that sticks out. That means this thing won't suddenly fall over, okay? Now this is still touching the tablet. You can see the weight right here. It's still reading something. So I need to increase the height a little bit for this, okay? That means I need paper. That's some advanced tech, right? To have paper. Or maybe even, in fact, can I do something else here? Believe it or not, I'm gonna put it in 2OS Pro 2025 underneath it. Oh, there we go. That should work. Just having some weight here will keep it off enough usually. Yeah, okay. There we go. So let me re-tear that. Okay, so now we're actually almost ready. But let me tell you what happens as I do this measurement. What we do is we open up an app, like, oh, I have to keep this off. Let me move it, rotate it. Let's find an app here. I need to get Credo or something. Or should I use Credo? I'll just use my own tool. That way it's not confusing to you. Now, I've never run the tool on this machine, but here we go. Should work. Okay. So I'm going to show you the tool. This is called my pen pressure profile. It's on GitHub. Now, what it's doing here is it knows, you know, it's using WinTab right now. It can use Windows Ink if I wanted to. But no, I'm going to push the pen down. You see the pressure? The pressure was working for a second and stopped. Oh, I have to map the tablet. So let's just do that. Let's go back to Wacom Center. I got to do the mapping. It is mapped to the correct screen. Apply. Okay, there we go. And then again, as Nick points out, we have to make sure there is no pressure curve, and there is none. There is this little foot here, okay? Now there's two schools of thought. This is a dead zone, right? I'm gonna remove the dead zone, okay? The dead zone will create problems. So you gotta do that, make sure it's linear. And then as I press down on the tablet, notice I'm not pressing the pen directly, I'm actually just touching this. You'll see the pressure, okay? Now, nothing's really dramatically happening yet, it's okay. The next thing we do is we start measuring the scale. So the scale is on COM port 3, serial port. So I start saying read. So now you're getting physical pressure and the scale, right? This is the scale rate, meaning basically 10 measurements a second. Now notice when I'm pressing down with the pen, the scale rate is something like 7 measurements per second. The tablet's going at 180 packets per second, maybe 200, okay? Which is less than the Pro Pen 3 because I think there's more data or something coming back from the pen, okay? Now, you're probably thinking, how do you actually start measuring this? So the easiest way is to turn on what I call auto mode. I'm gonna do something that's called start auto capture. Actually, even if I don't do that, no, okay, I gotta do start auto capture. Now watch this. let's tear the weight. Okay. Now nothing's happening. Okay. Now, as silly as it seems, I'm going to put this piece of wood here, this ruler, on top of this. Okay. And I'm just going to, with my hand, let me change the view. It's more obvious what's happening here. Okay. I'm just going to gently come down on this thing. Okay. Gently. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to actually tape the ruler on the block here because it'll keep it more steady. And it's easier for me to figure out what is actually going. It won't slide off or anything. It's going to be a disaster in other ways, but let me just do that. Now, the other good thing is as you push harder, this pen will start coming up out of the block. So this actually keeps the pen in place. That's another like side effect of this crazy thing I've done here. So let's tape this thing in place a little bit. It's not great. Oops. Okay. Great. Okay, this is good. Okay. So right now by itself, actually I'm going to add more tape because this has enough weight that I'm afraid it's going to rip off. So let's do that. Let's add a few more pieces of tape here. Stability is a hard problem here. I really need to talk to somebody who knows how to build things out of wood and like things that rotate. So maybe they can build something that would meet my needs. A lever I've tried, but it doesn't quite do exactly what I need. Okay. So we're trying to, remember, we have to start low and go high, and why I do that will be more obvious as we get further through this video. But we're in the right place. Let me restart this, okay? So what I want you to watch, so what I'm gonna do is just press down with my hand. Now I'm not gonna show you that because you can't see the scale, but watch what happens as I start pressing. Okay, notice you see some dots appearing? I'm just gonna press that harder and harder. Guess what? You're seeing the live pressure response being calculated. Okay, and we'll explain some weird things as you're seeing it. You can't do it too fast. I can do it faster than this, but I can't do it too fast. X-axis is the scale, Y-axis is the pen. Okay? There is no disaster that duct tape can't fix. 3D printing could work. I have a 3D printer. I do think this seems like bigger than it can handle, though, for sure, because it's what, a Carbon X1, a Bamboo Labs Carbon X1. But maybe I could figure out something. So what do you notice here? Okay, first of all, do you notice these little steps? This isn't the pen. This is my apparatus. Okay, what happens here when you see this number climb up? And it keeps measuring things, so it's removing old dots. That's okay. But what happens when you see it climb up and go to the right? What that means is the scale is kind of stuck at a certain thing, but the pressure is climbing. Okay. Why is the scale stuck at certain? I don't know. I don't know if that's my apparatus or the scale or something, but that happens. That happens. Now, the dots go away, but you notice there's one dot left. What happens is, if there's some parameters here, basically, these are the auto parameters. So basically, if the measurements are stable for half a second, like both the pen and the tablet, the pen and the scale, it'll actually record that dot. Okay? So this is an art pen. Okay, so let's go figure out what the IAF is. Okay, so we're gonna go back down to near zero. Okay? Now, it can be difficult. I assure you, holding down this piece of wood with my hand is not exactly reliable. So what I do is, for IAF, now you gotta be careful. You don't wanna do this on top of glass tablets, okay? I take a weight, and it depends on, just kind of depends on the situation, what weight I use, but I'm gonna use this one, which is, what is this? 100 grams, okay? Okay, so let's just go down and see what happens if I slide it over. Okay, now it's hitting 4.5. Oops, it suddenly jumped. And that happens sometimes because the thing kind of vibrates. So it's okay, it's okay. But you see it's collecting data. So at 4.5 gram force, it's getting what, 8%. So that's too much. So what you want to do is actually, let me just reset everything here. I gotta lift the pen up for this and clear. And I'm gonna sort it backwards, okay. So, okay. It's at 3 gram, sorry, I'm gonna zero out the scale. Actually, I'm not gonna zero, oops, so I dropped the scale, I dropped the weight. Let me zero it out. It doesn't matter if it's not perfectly zero, by the way, but I'm gonna slowly get to 1 gram force. I didn't get to 1, but I got close enough. You can see now it says 0.3 gram force is giving 0%. I want to see 0%. Okay? So that was a little spike. We'll go here. And don't worry, it's going to create some noise. So now it's at 0.7 gram force, still 0. Move the thing over. Now it's like what? 2.9 gram force is 5.1. Okay, so let's move it to the left a little bit. 1 gram force. Not even registering, right? It's a 0. What about 3? So this is tough. Maybe I should use a smaller weight because we're getting real sensitive for IF, right? Let's try that. Let's see. Okay, we're getting there. What we're looking for is how we want to go 0, 0, 0 until the very first moment it climbs up to a non-zero value, right? So I'm trying to find that point. 1.6 is still reading 0. 2.7 is still reading, what is it reading? 2.7 is not. You gotta be careful, even my hand sometimes can trigger a change. Mr. Dendiskov says, yeah, I have some ideas how you can make a bracket for it. Basically, plumb bob gears. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, please share. So what do we see? So all you do is just slide, excuse me. I gotta sneeze again. You slide these things. Now I'm gonna add more weight. Okay. And I'm not getting, I need an island of stability, right? So I'm gonna move the weight back. Wait for a blue dot to appear. Can you see the blue dot? Then move it forward. Slide the weight. You see what's happening, right? Now I have 2 weights on here, so it can get tricky. I'm gonna have to move just both of them at some point. There you see that thing where it climbed up and moved to the right. That means the scale just kind of got stuck for a second. Now you have to be careful because sometimes you can do things that cause it to go to the left as well, but you'll see it. Moving 2 things almost certainly does that. So I'm gonna just move one of them out of the way. See, I took one of the weights off. See what happened? And that's an effect I'll talk about later. But sometimes you just have to keep going until you reconnect and manually fix up these dots. I'm gonna try more weight. I'll actually use this in my measurements. I've got a 500 gram weight over here. Okay. And this is for when you want to get high, like really the big pressure. Ideally, I would never change weight because every time you change weight, meaning you're adding or subtracting one, it just messes up with the scale and you get noise. Okay. Look at that. So this is going to be my most accurate measurement ever. Oops. That's the other thing that happens is that this gets unsteady and the weights can fall. So let's just see what happened, right? Let's just see how much this messed up everything. Why did it do that? I don't know. But you can see like it really messed up the... So I'm going to try another technique. Okay, I'm going to just kind of reset myself and start from the beginning again. And you can see I'm just dragging the weight over. It's more or less tracking the old things. That's good. That means we're kind of like on the same path. Okay. And I do edit the points, but I don't edit them live. You'll see my editing in a second. If I was a real scientist, I'd keep all the points, but I know some of these are absolute trash. And I'm going to watch my hand carefully. I'm going to put my hand near the weight so that it doesn't fall. So we're getting up to 421 is 99.7. And you want to see some 100s. You want to see when you actually go beyond, right? I try to find the closest 100 point. Okay. So I'm going to take this, and then let's go take a look at, let's go edit these. So what happens is sometimes the scale went up and down in weird ways, so we have to edit the points. Whenever you see an orange, it means that there was something that's not monotonic, meaning it didn't increase in a nice way. Well, I already see some points are just total trash, right? So let's delete those. Like that one, okay? That took care of a few problems. What about here? Yeah, there was some weirdness here. I will say probably these are when things got nuts, like when the weights dropped, so I'm gonna delete those. We're not trying to get thousands of points, but I wanna see like between, 25 and 50. Though with this tool, I'm now getting way more points. Now, why do I collect so many points? Because I wanna have confidence in the numbers at the max and the IF. And the only way to get confidence is say, well, did we arrive there in a consistent way? I'm gonna just remove this. One of these is the error, so I'll remove this one. There we go. So we know it's 100% here. It wasn't 100% here, it's very close, 99.5. So we could probably guess that 100% is gonna be right about here, like the actual 100%, okay? That's a reasonable guess. We'll only be off by a couple of gram force, not a big deal. Let's take a look at the IAF. Oh, there's still some errors, but we'll take those in a second. Let's see, yep, here's one. There's a couple of more here. One here. This is just not a necessary point. We don't need that much granularity. So sometimes they pair up like this, so I just delete one of the pairs, okay? Because it's not really adding any value to have two pairs like that. Like here's an example, right? Which one I delete? This is 0. I need that one, that's 0. Yeah, I need all these. These are all the 0. So this one's non-zero. So we can guess the IAF is between 1 and 2, and what is this one? 1.84. So this has a very low IAF. This is one. I hope by showing you this, you can see now why I'm starting to develop some feeling that no, my measurements are starting to get good on IAF, okay? And then once I'm done, there's no issues, right? So 35 captures, I'll say done. And then I scroll down here and guess what I hit? I hit save. I'll move this out of the way. And remember, each one of my pens has a little, what is it? Has a little ID here, an inventory ID. So this is WAP, Wacom Pen .0025. So I'm gonna save this. It says sweep, so you can't see the file name. It says sweep, and a date. That's just because it was called a sweep mode before. I don't know why it says it twice. But it's WAP what was it again? 0025. And we'll measure the other pen too, because it might as well, because we want to compare the art pens, right? So let's save this. I'll put this in my documents folder. So now you saw the full process. Now, I'm going to show you one thing else, which is just an interesting fact you should learn, and it can affect us. I don't know what to think about it yet, though. So let me just show you. Let's clear everything. And I'm just going to sweep with my hand, okay? Now watch. I'm not really moving the pen too much, but I'm just increasing the pressure, okay? If I move, you'll see it'll go backwards a little bit. That's just another consequence of the weirdness of using pens. Okay, now I'm at 100%. Now in theory, if I go backwards, meaning, sorry, if I start decreasing pressure, I'll trace the same line, right? In theory, watch what actually happens. Aha, what do you notice? Well, there's noise for sure, but also, are you noticing something else? It traces a different line. Sorry, I took the pen off the thing for a second. There we go, that gives you a good enough look. So yeah, it's offset, Beast Studios, and that is something called, hang on, let me get my Chrome here. Hang on a second. Here we go. What's going on here? That's something called hysteresis. Okay? I'm just going to read out what it says. Hysteresis is the dependence of the state of a system on its history. So this actual diagram is very similar to what we just did, by the way. As you're measuring pressure up, you'll get one curve. As you're measuring pressure down, you get a slightly different one. Okay? And this isn't just this pen. This is every pen I've tested. I measure, so I'm not just planning on changing my measurement style, but when I measure, I'm measuring down to up. This does also tell us, though, things will feel a little different when you're lifting your pen up from pressure or you're going lighter. The pressure will be not quite the same as when you're coming down, at least in theory. So that's interesting. Okay, I'm going to need to, it's getting a bit warm in here. I'm going to turn on the air conditioner and I'm going to be right back. 1 minute. And I'll get some water because I'm thirsty. 1 second. Okay, I am back. And so hysteresis is one thing. Now, I don't know if that's going to affect how we actually draw, but it could affect some things. But as of yet, I haven't had anyone really say they've noticed any effect of, like, you know, strokes that are decreasing in pressure behave noticeably different. But we have a little bit of data here. The other thing that is interesting here is I've always wondered about the effect of tilt on IAF and pressure. So we're going to do a live measurement, and we're going to try to see what happens with tilt. Okay? So I can see the tilt number at the top. Tilt, what is it? Tilt azimuth. I'm going to hold it at 0, as close to 0 as possible. Actually, I just took a measurement at 0, so we'll show that later. Actually, let's just do it now. So I'm going to use my apparatus for this since it's a bit easier. Let's go. This is a very delicate operation here. Does tilt affect IF? It should, in theory. But how much? Well, we're not really sure. That little spike up there was just due to the bounce on the tablet. So the azimuth is, the altitude is 87 degrees, so it's pretty vertical, 3 degrees off vertical. Let's see if there's any numerical differences. I went up too high, so I have to go back down. I'm at 6, but it's not stable. Okay, so let's go down to a little bit less. We should get one. I mean, if we were accurate last time, it should be like 1.8 or something. I can't remember. It's not measuring a point right now, only because it is not stable. Okay, it got stable. That's the other thing. When at low IF, and my hand's on the table, that's affecting things also. You gotta be careful about the table. Because you're just touching the table can impact the tablet and the scale. Now it's dancing at 1.5. It's going from 0 to like 300, so it's not hitting a point of stability. Like, you could theoretically say that 1.5 is the lowest measure it can, lowest value can detect pressure, but if it's not stable, it's hard for me to agree with that. Let's try 1.9. Oh, this is very close. We should get a reading in a minute. Let's just hang on there. I'm just waiting. There we go. So at 1.9, it was 3.82. I am so curious how close I can get to like 1%. I'm just shoving it to the left a little bit. There should be a little hysteresis here, but I don't think it's a big deal. That's a 1.8, which is the lowest IF we got last time, by the way. But I like to see a pressure at like, this is 1.7. I think we can get a 1.7 reading. I want to get the low because I want to get, well, let's let it hang out here. It is just noisy there. Now that we're just at this topic, I'm gonna just get a little bit lower. 1.7. I'm thinking about getting a more sensitive scale too. Okay, I'm gonna say 1.9, 1. So that's a number. Now this one's tricky. We're gonna, so basically at 1.8, 1.9 is when we saw reliable numbers. This may not work, but let me show you what's happening here. If I can, the pen is actually sticking out a little bit. Can you see it? Oh, you can't see it. It's actually at an angle. There's not enough light here. It's actually sticking out at a 45-degree angle, okay? So this may not work, but I've tailored the scale, and we're gonna see if holding it at an angle like this, and I made it, yeah, is gonna increase the IF or not. It should a little bit. It should just a little bit. Now, because now the pen is not as close, though, to the tablet, I'm going to have to do something. And that something is, I'm gonna take away some paper here. And this is going to cause a whole bunch of shaking. Oof. Yeah, it's a little too much shaking. So I'll have to add a little bit of paper back to this. Let's see. A little bit. Okay, there we go. I'm going to retailor the scale. So now my altitude is, I don't know, it's 30 degrees less off of center. Let's just see what the difference was. As I bring it, I hit the scale again. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. And let me clear all these measurements here. Okay. Is there a difference? I don't see one yet. There's still a lot of noise. I would say I do see a very slight increase in IAF. Because we see here at 2.4 gram force, there's a zero reading. But 1.8, 1.9 is where we saw it when it was 90 degrees. Let's do 1.9. See if that makes a difference. Our 1.9 reading is there. So it's not much of a difference, at least at 30 degrees. Maybe with a different angle, we'll see something very different. I'm going to try that just very briefly. Let's see if I can do it like this. It's more like a 45-degree angle now. 40, yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna have to adjust this a little bit. Okay. This is not going as easy as I thought. Actually, now maybe I have a... I'm lifting up the scale with my hand and seeing if this is going to do it. it's not quite having the effect. I'm not seeing it for IAF. I mean, I believe it's true. I just can't find a reliable way of measuring it. So that was another, it was worthy of an experiment. One last experiment is, we'll just manually do it. So I'm going to clear the scale, and now I'm going to just draw more or less vertically. I'm going to sweep, okay, in one continuous sort of circular motion. Right, I'll do that one more time. Yeah, okay. So we have a decent idea what's gonna happen. Now I'm gonna do it at a severe angle, like 45 degrees. Well, I think the evidence is clear that at 45 degrees, you can see the trend, right? Which is more pronounced. So on the left was the non-tilted, on the right was the tilted. Absolutely, tilting more increases how much harder you have to press to get to maximum pressure, right? So lots of us who draw normally, let's just try my normal hand where I'm at. I am sort of at a 45-degree angle, or in between, right? So I will be here, right? Does that make sense? So we can now confirm that, when you're tilting, there will be an effect on pressure response, but it will be certainly more noticeable the harder you press, but it will affect IF a little bit, for sure. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, there's lots of improvements I want to make here. I think that the tool, I want to make it so that I don't have to really think too much. Let's see, Mr. Dendroscope. Yeah, that makes sense since not all the weights, exactly. Some of the weight's going, into the pen, the inside, because the nib is hitting the side of the pen. So it's not all being directed into the tablet or into the pressure sensor rather, right? And I think that's the key thing. The pressure sensor's inside the pen, not the tablet. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick bio break. I'll be right back. There's a few more things I want to talk about, and we'll take any questions, etc. And we'll chat about whatever. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I was actually replying to Mr. Danderscuff. Uh, Great idea, Mr. Danderscuff. If you want to put it in the Discord, you can just put it in general. There's also live stream chat, but general, I will be guaranteed to see it. But thank you. I'd love to see what you come up with. Okay, I'm going to measure the other pen because these are good measurements. And let's see, that was so unit 26. So let's just do that, and then we'll move on to other topics, because I'm going to need this anyway for my video on the Pro Pen 3. Oh, sorry, the Art Pen 2. So let us clear this and start recording. I may need that paper back. Let's see. Okay, maybe I don't. Okay. Great, great, great. Okay, let's clear this. And we are going to just quickly measure this pen. It won't take long because this is a simple, because I'm not trying to show you every detail about how I do things now. I'm just trying to do them. I dropped the weight again. It's always funny when I drop the weight. Okay, let's try this one more time. I'm just waiting for it to tear. Okay, let's clear all and begin again. Okay, 1.36 is not enough. 2.7 is 5. It's okay if we go backwards on this. 2.3 should be counting as something. That is stably, but it's not stabilizing enough. I'm gonna change the parameters a little bit because it needs a little more. I'm gonna make the pen tolerance a little bit higher right now. Okay. Oops, not the one. Okay. Hang on. Sorry, everything is just screwy right now. I'm gonna make it 2%, and I'm gonna clear all the. Okay, let's try that again. Let me tear the weight. And let's see. If I have something even lighter, I will use it, but I don't have anything even lighter right now with me. Maybe I do. That might be too heavy. Sometimes I use just weird little objects that are just light. Okay, I think that this one is. I'm gonna try something funny here. I think that a sheet of paper might be just enough weight. Whoop, it's got to stay on though. To trigger what I want. Let's see if it works. 2.2. I know it can go. I know it's actually lower. I can see the numbers stay steady even if it's lower. Yeah, 1.5. I got a 1.5 reading, which is good. That's a low IF. That's a low IF. I'm gonna try to get a little bit lower. That's probably good enough. Now I'll just start increasing the weight. And I'm going to swap the weight. Move it backwards a little bit. There'll be a little bit of hysteresis here, but not much. We don't tend to see that until we get really toward the top. I have had pens where inexplicable things happen, and because of my equipment, where the numbers will really bounce. So I have to remeasure those carefully. Overall, this pen looks to, my numbers here are saying this is a good pen still. Super low IIF. Some of the lowest IIFs I have been consistently able to measure. So it tells me my equipment is getting better and my process is getting better, even if it isn't perfect. We're reaching what, 220 gram force, almost 250 now. Ooh, 99.59 goes to 280. And then we want to get 100. We want to get a couple of hundreds. It's good to have 0 and 100 measurements. 1.1 started reading for a little bit while you were swapping the weights. Yeah. I'll edit that out. Thank you for catching that, Mr. Denderskov. Okay, I think we got some good measurements. Let's do a quick edit. So there was only one non-monotonic item here, which was this one. Let's take a look at. We have a time scale to work on, so we can track measurements moving backwards and eliminate the capture forward. Yeah, I would love to do something where it just knows not to do the backwards measurements, but I gotta play more. I gotta just play more. Okay, you said there was a 1-1 measurement? Okay, that came as a 0, so that's okay. That's okay. I think that's a real 0. Okay. So what I do here again is this is 1.5. And this is 1.1. My IF estimation, I just take the 50%, like what's in the middle between these two. So I would give this one like a 1.35 or something, right? It's low. Yeah. I think that's done. No errors and then let's save it as, it's 2.6. And I'm even going to show you how I get the data in there, believe it or not. You're going to love this. Documents. There we go. Okay. So, I'm going to take this strange measuring thing out of my way. So now you see the ugly way I measure these things. I mean, it works. It works, so that is a good thing. But it's definitely something I want to improve. Again, I want to make it more automated, more repeatable. I want to make it easier to test things like tilt and hysteresis and just measure these things. I began working on something for tilt where the dots are color coded so that they're black or very dark when they're near vertical tilt, but they become red or something when they, or light blue when they get off tilt. Haven't had enough chance to see if it's doing what I need yet, but at least it's a start, right? There's also, I think now that I think about it, there's probably something we could do about hysteresis where I plot, if things are going backwards, they get plotted on a parallel graph or a parallel thing or something, or not plotted at all, because we want to increase. What I find though is once we get off track with hysteresis, we have to go all the way back from zero and build up quickly. Otherwise, it's hard to correct, right? Back to like in the middle of the chart. Okay, so that was saved. Let me double check. And not that this is a clever way of doing things, but here's what I do. I just rename these. And then we can get Claude to add them to the data, okay? And we'll compare data sessions. So let's bring up Claude. Do I have Claude installed? I do have Claude installed. You'll see my actual oh, I need Claude needs to get updated. Actually, I'm gonna do that on another machine. I'm gonna have to like install too many things to get Claude and things working here, but I will incorporate this. But let's just take a look at what we found here real quick. Could you have a could you have a buffer that just pushes a value to the top of the buffer? Tell me more what you mean. I'm trying to understand. You mean like take the topmost measurement? Yeah, if you could explain maybe what you're thinking or the idea behind it, that'd make it easier for me to evaluate. Okay, let's compare our numbers. And I can load these numbers again. So let's take a look at what we have. If value more than top buffer, else push. Oh, yeah. That's another, yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. The thing we have to watch out for there is as I'm changing weights or making mistakes, sometimes, or just lifting the pen up, weird things can measure. So, because the scale lags the pen, it'll catch weird measurements. So I got to make sure to exclude those, and it's hard to exclude those. But I am going to try that technique. At the very least, a technique like that might make it easier for me to do less editing to clean up the data. Okay, let's take a look at my where is it? It's my tools, and we're gonna go to the Draw tab, Data Explorer. Okay, so let's take a look at 701 here. No, I mean pen, not tablet. 701. Okay, let's take a look. So the IAF we found at 2.73.4, but I measured them now at like 1.8, 1.5. So that's good. Now what about max pressure? I found them previously at 475 and 277. Now this is interesting. I've always been better at max pressure than IAF. What does my data show? My data shows 311. Okay. I have the other one too. Load. And 430. Oops. So this would be 311 and this would be 430 here, right? So it looks like I got a tighter range of max pressure. One increased, one decreased a little bit, right, by like 40 points or something. it happens. Remeasuring, you're not guaranteed. But this is why you take multiple measurements, right? You take multiple measurements and you finally eventually come to a conclusion. Some of these measurements I took, I think I will eventually have to delete because the equipment is just, you can't compare them because the equipment has changed so much. Especially the ones that were made 2 years ago. Like, I think this was it made 2 years ago? No, a year ago. This might stay. I don't want to lose data, or remove data, I should say, because I do want to give us, I like to have multiple measurements to see how well things are tracking. Okay. Now, okay, so let me, okay, I think we covered hysteresis. We covered, let me take a look at the show notes real quick. Measuring pressure, slop. Well, I showed you some slop. That was my my tool, which I built originally, but then I used AI to improve. Let's see. Update to tablet tester. Oh yeah, I made an update to this tool, which I'll show you. This is my tablet testers tool. Tablet tester tool, the basic version. So here's the updates. The updates are actually to deal with the art pen. So I made an explicit brush mode. So now brush, size, pressure to size, right? But you can switch it. Let me do it this way. So there's a drop down here, which mode you want, pressure to size, the other one. So that's pressure to size, which is the normal way you draw. Then there's azimuth, meaning angle, direction the pen's pointing, like on a compass. So you can see it here. See? Oh, it makes more sense if I show you the overhead. And I'll zoom in. That way you can see my hand and how it's doing things. That's good enough. You see? That's how you'd expect barrel rotation. Sorry, tilt. This is tilt, not barrel rotation. Okay? I can rotate the pen all I want, but it's not doing anything. It's actually just matching the orientation of the pen. See? Okay, and then there's tilt altitude to brush size. So it's actually doing azimuth and altitude. So if I'm not tilting, the brush is very thin. Or if I'm tilting more, it's very thick. See? And then finally, of course, we have twist to brush. Twist is what they call barrel rotation in the web APIs. Now you can see barrel rotation is actually, if I go left to right and start twirling it, you'll see, right? Twirling it. So that's barrel rotation. So yeah, this is just so that people can start testing their pens. So that was another thing I wanted to show you. And then someone pointed out there's an easier way to install Clip Studio Paint on Linux. I was going to watch this, but I'm getting tired because we've been streaming now for 3.5 hours. So I'm going to call it a stream, and I'll probably cover this in my next stream, the Linux. And we may have some more updates on pressure. I think we will. I'll do more testing. I want to remeasure all my Pro Pens, Pro Pen 2s to see where they land with my new apparatus. I'll take a look at Mr. Danderscoff's suggestions, see if I can think about how that might work here. I don't know, maybe it's time I learned some woodworking skills or something to help me deal with building these devices, or make better use of the 3D printer I have. Anyway, with that, thanks for joining me. This was a fun stream. We got to see lots of real data and some interesting things about how pens are actually working. And I think we're going to have a lot more to talk about. Everyone, have a great day. I'll see you soon. Have a great night.